What is going on, everybody? Back at it again with another YouTube video. And today, I wanted to talk about the Eagles' main issue, and it's obvious that it is the receiving corps. Before I dive all up into that, I wanted to say sorry for not posting yesterday. I've been on an upload streak since, quarantine, and I've been trying to get out as much content as I possibly can with no sports being talked about, really. There's no Phillies, there's no Flyers, there's no Sixers, and Eagles free agency and NFL free agency is really the only sports news that I can really get out to you guys. And it's gotten really hard since the Eagles have stopped making moves and, all the receivers are starting to really come off the board for the Eagles to grab. So I think it really just comes down to the draft now, which I will be doing, a deep analysis on that, on who I think the Eagles are going to draft. And after the draft, I'll be obviously talking about who the Eagles just drafted, because I think for round one, it's going to be a wide receiver, almost definitely at this point. You can't not draft a receiver round one. Who else are you going to draft? We don't value linebacker position. The offensive line, it's a need on the left side, but you can wait a little bit. You can wait. Trust me. And with the receivers, our current receiving corps is Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and Greg Ward Jr. If one of those guys gets hurt, what's going to happen? We don't have a receiver to back them up. It's not like we could just call people up again like last year. That's not what the Eagles can do. We can't keep calling people up from the practice squad and have them just perform. Carson Wentz is now 26 years old. He's in the prime of his career. The beginning of the prime of his career. If he does not get help, we are wasting this man's career. He's supposed to be the person that brings us multiple Super Bowls. Yes, he helped a lot in 2013. Or not 2013, 2017, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. But Carson Wentz doesn't get nearly as much, recognition as Nick Foles because he didn't play in the big game. And I understand that. Nick Foles did win the Super Bowl for the Eagles. I mean, he played in the playoffs. And that's where names are made, is in the playoffs. In the Super Bowl, he did it in the divisional round, he did it in the championship game. And, obviously the Phillies, the man has a statue. He's not retired. He's not even a consistent starter with the Eagles. And he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. But he has a statue because of what he did for this city. He won something that no other player in Eagles history has won at the quarterback position or at any position. 2017 was the only year the Eagles won, and I'm sure all of you know that, but he did something. He made this city come together for one day, and it was the Super Bowl. And then, obviously the parade was big. There was 2, 3, 4 million people walking around the city of Philadelphia just watching the parade. And I understand that. But Carson Wentz is supposed to be the guy that gets you multiple. I'm not talking about just one. I'm talking about 2 or 3. I think when it's all said and done, Carson Wentz could definitely win a couple Super Bowls. He has the talent to do it. But if you're not going to supply him with the talent around, how is he supposed to win? Are we just going to leave him out there to dry? Are we just going to waste his career because we just paid him? Are we going to waste a second overall pick? I mean, it's stupid. Go get the guy some help so we can have a shot at winning a Super Bowl. Because right now, I don't think we're a contender for the Super Bowl. I think we are a playoff team, but that's just because the NFC East stinks. The Redskins aren't good. The Giants aren't good. And the Cowboys, they don't even have a quarterback right now. They don't have a quarterback that they can trust right now. in Dak Prescott. And you can tell because he hasn't signed the deal yet. But if you're going to leave this receiving core with Alshon, Deshaun, Arcega-Whiteside, and Greg Ward, you're not going to win much. You might get to the playoffs, but you're not going to win. You're not going to win in the playoffs. You saw what happened last year in the playoffs. We had Burnett. We had Ward. We had Whiteside. And who did Seattle have? DK Metcalf, who was picked after J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. This draft is so important because if you don't draft the right receiver for this offense, or if you don't draft multiple receivers, I think you got to go out and draft 2 or 3 receivers, honestly. I think in round 1 and round 2, you go receiver. Now, the guy that I see moving up and down on the mock list, and not saying that I follow it or anything, like I obviously pay attention to it, but I'm not going to base everything off of, that list. But I've seen Jalen Reagor at a TCU move up and down multiple times. I've also seen Denzel Mims. I've seen, Justin Jefferson, Henry Ruggs. I've even seen CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy fall to either the 21st pick, or we move up. And that's what you have to do. You can't just sit around and wait. If you go 21, I don't think Justin Jefferson's the guy. I've been watching his highlights all day yesterday. I've been really paying attention to him. I don't think he's the guy. I think Jalen Reagor would fit better in this offense. I even think Denzel Mims might fit better in this offense just because of the way they play. Justin Jefferson's an inside guy. He's not going to play the outside, and you need a deep threat off the ball sometimes. Sometimes you just need to say, all right, go down the field, catch me this ball so we can score. We only had that with Deshaun last year, and it was for 1 game and 2 snaps. It was against Washington the entire game. Then he played against the Falcons 1 series, snap, whatever you want to call it. And then against the Bears 1 series, 1 snap, whatever you want to call it. But this draft is so big for the Eagles because if they mess up again, this is just another year of Carson Wentz that you are wasting. And that's where it's really coming down to with me. Why would you draft a man 2nd overall and just decide after you win 1 Super Bowl that's it? We're done. Wentz doesn't need help. Because that's really what it's looking out to be. They're just ignoring the fact that Wentz has no receiving help. And now Demarcus Robinson re-signs with Kansas City. What does that mean for Sammy Watkins? The Chiefs have to pay him $14 million if they cut him. If the Chiefs cut him and the Eagles don't hop on that, if he decides to stay in the NFL, because there's been rumors where, he takes a year off to think about some stuff. But if he decides to stay and the Eagles don't sign him, I don't know what they're doing. Because I think Sammy Watkins would be a very good receiver in this offense. Just for depth alone. You have a body out there. You have somebody, because Alshon's not going to play until maybe late October, mid-November. So now you're stuck with Deshaun, Arcega-Whiteside, and Greg Ward Jr., who JJ can't run routes. Deshaun hasn't played a full season in I don't even know how long. And as good as Greg Ward was last season, he's still a practice squad player. And I understand. He is good, and I think he's going to be a solid slot receiver in this league, especially for the Eagles. But you got to sign a guy like Sammy Watkins. If he's cut, you have to sign him. Then go out in the draft and draft 2 receivers, whether it's Denzel Mims, Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson, Henry Ruggs, Judy, Lamb, whoever it is. You have to draft one of the 6 guys that I just said. You have to. Now, obviously, there's some other guys that could be like diamonds in the rough, or some guys that I'm just not talking about right now. But the 6 guys that I've seen the most Eagles fans and the most draftees talk about are Mims, Reagor, Jefferson, Ruggs, Judy, Lamb. And obviously the big 3 are Judy, Lamb, and Ruggs. If you cannot get him, with the 21st pick, I want the Eagles to select Jalen Reagor. 100%. I thought about it for a while, but I think I want them to pick Jalen Reagor with the 21st overall pick if they don't move up or move back or whatever it is. But it's just, and the scary thing is, he's fine with this receiving core. Maybe he's just saying that because you really can't say, oh, well, we're looking to move on from Alshon. Because if you're looking to move on from Alshon, nobody's going to want to trade for you. Trade for Alshon, which I don't think it's going to happen anyways. I don't think you can find a trade for Alshon Jeffrey because his contract is ridiculous. He's not going to play more than half the season next year. And he's 30 years old. Who has no speed? At least Deshaun has some speed left. Alshon doesn't have speed. He's coming off a leg injury, and he wasn't that fast to begin with. Alshon is a reliable receiver when he's healthy, when he's on the field. He hasn't been on the field since when, the Bears game? I mean, it's really frustrating to see that the Eagles are just ignoring the wide receiver position, in free agency. And if they don't attack it first round in the draft, they are just choosing to waste Carson Wentz's career. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We're at 240 subs. Let's try to hit 243 by the end of today. And let me know who do you want the Eagles to draft, and if the Eagles should sign Sammy Watkins if he's cut. Again, thank you all for watching. I'm out. Peace.